I love our fatlogic. Well, I love the content of our fatlogic. It's easily one of my favorite subreddits. The reason I enjoy it as much as I do is this. I'm fat. My BMI is like 38. I'm 5'1.5" and 210 pounds, and I'm fully aware of the fact that this is not a good, healthy thing. I myself am not particularly unhealthy. I have a good bit of muscle on me, hiding under a solid layer of fat, and weight loss is something I've been working on, and I'm no longer wearing plus-size clothing. Long story short, I love our fat logic because I am a fat chick who knows that being fat is unhealthy and something that I can change. Well, if you love fat logic, what's your problem? Well, the problem I have is with the admins. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, I submitted a post to our fat logic, and I'm going to read that in just a minute. I have a couple problems here. One, because there is apparently a need for this post to be okayed before being submitted to what is supposed to be a public forum. The auto moderator notification that I got after posting it is submissions from new accounts require manual approval, which sounds like you kind of need some sort of special key to be allowed to just post freely on a public forum. There's something about that just really bugs me, feels weird. Well, I submitted 2 different versions of this post, and the first version, which I've unfortunately deleted and I can't access, was not very well written. It didn't really go into what my reason behind submitting this particular thing, which again, I will read that in just a minute. So after that got rejected by you, Kratha, for the reason that we're sorry, but your post or comment has been removed for the following reason. I think you misinterpreted this sub. Casting a thin woman and putting her in a fat suit is not fat logic in any way, and there is no fat logic here. And I totally get that. First post I submitted was not particularly clear or well written on this. So here's what I ended up submitting after to clear everything up. The title of the post I wrote is Model Hunger, aka The Fat Acceptance Killer. I have been making my way through my vast collection of horror movies, going alphabetically. Today's flick was Model Hunger, a slasher movie about a former lingerie model who kills young, skinny, fat-phobic women and eats their flesh. The killer herself isn't fat by any stretch of the imagination, but her favorite show, Susie's Secret, is a home shopping program hosted by a morbidly obese woman who spouts fat acceptance and word nonsense. Susie is pretty much a god to the model turned killer. Her whole message is that real women have curves, yada yada yada. She has a lingerie line and a bondage line for obese women. The killer's voiceover throughout the film is her bitching about skinny girls and how shallow, fake, and overall shitty skinny women are. She kills girls for laughing at her plus-sized idol and for making any statement that is in any way fat-phobic. A girl complains about having lumberjack thighs. She's tortured and killed. A girl turns down food. She's tortured and killed. A girl laughs at fat TV host. She's tortured and killed. A man has unrealistic standards. He's tortured and killed. Susie, the fat acceptance goddess, nearly everyone in the town is obsessed with her show, is actually played by a skinny woman in a fat suit. I really hope that this will become part of the plot at some point, but it doesn't. They just chose to cast a skinny woman instead of a fat woman. Cue outraged cries of fat erasure from the land whales. It's just a bit of delicious irony. Like Tess Holliday claiming to be a size 20 or 22, and I included a link to the IMDb page and to the movie, which was uploaded in its entirety to YouTube for whatever reason, and ended on, this movie was made in 2016. There is no excuse for the shitty of production quality. Most smartphones can take better video than this, and the video quality was absolutely horrendous. In my time, I have seen a lot of horror movies. It's my favorite genre. It's my bread and butter. And I will say that the production quality of this movie is just unacceptable. Okay, but back on topic. So after I submitted that, I got, another submissions from new accounts require manual approval, and this post was turned down. And I asked, I sent a message to admin asking, hey, I saw that this post was was turned down, was rejected, and no one left a comment like they did last time. So what's going on here? And actually, it was never officially like rejected. At least I was not told by admin that it was. But then I get a response from you, Prime Minister Owl, saying, sorry, I removed it the second time without adding a comment. We'll discuss it and get back to you. And the next day, I got another response via the subreddit saying, unfortunately, video submissions, especially longer submissions or multiple videos, don't do well here because of the length involved, especially on a holiday weekend. All our volunteer staff of mods finds it difficult to devote the time to watch anything longer than a short clip or a GIF. If you'd like to submit a clip from the show, we'll take a look. Additionally, you're welcome to discuss the show in one of our Tuesday or Friday rant posts. So after this, I did send them the trailer to the movie, and the next response I got was this. Okay, that's rather violent and wouldn't be appropriate in any case. And so here is where I kind of had a bit of an issue. So, if you will recall, I mentioned several times in this post that people were being tortured and killed. And so, that's generally considered to be a violent thing, being tortured and killed. So I responded to them saying that basically my response was, did you read the post I wrote? I mentioned people being tortured and killed several times. We could have avoided this whole runaround. Would it have been okay if I just didn't like the video and only linked to the IMDb page? I'm not going to pursue this any further. The fact that fatlogic requires approval to post seems to defeat the purpose of a public forum. I kind of left it at that. I never got a response. No one answered me as to what was going on here, so I kind of just been left to assume that they did not actually read the post that I wrote, and that's where this kind of all comes to a head. Like I said before, it's weird enough to me that I need to get through some approval to make a post to a public forum. But on top of that, when they're going to reject my post without actually reading it, that just seems, I don't even know what to make of that, really. That's just strange, and it kind of ruined a subreddit that I really, really enjoyed, to know that these are the kind of people that are running it behind the scenes. And I personally am kind of boycotting this particular subreddit. It just really pisses me off that something like this happened. To me, it seems like they're saying, well, okay, we just don't care. You tried to submit a post and it didn't work out, so we turned that down. And then you tried again, and we just assumed that it was not going to be appropriate. It wouldn't fit the subreddit, so we just shot it down. And like I said, we could have avoided that whole runaround if they had just read the words tortured and killed. Again, that is mentioned numerous times throughout the video, and it baffles. These aren't the kind of people I would want to be running a public forum, where first I need to apparently make a post that they approve before I can actually post freely on the public forum. That just seems very strange to me. But when they're not going to let me get past that initial point, it just seems unethical to me. I don't like the idea that one of my favorite subreddits is being run by this kind of administration. I can't support the administration, and that is why I'm no longer going to be commenting, upvoting, whatever, in the r fatlogic subreddit. I might watch some compilation videos that other people make, but I'm not going to actually contribute in any way to this because I guess they don't want me to, and that's about all I have to say. I don't know how to end videos. This is the closest thing to an outro you're gonna get. Adios, bichachos.